Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Isla is a little Isla game that's put in a medium-sized box by Stefan Feld. And I feel like this is one that a lot of people have missed when they're fans of Stefan Feld, is they miss Isla. And that what this is a little family game, being on an island and collecting animals and then scoring points for those set collection. You also have a little bit of resource management, but usually as soon as you get a resource or two of those, you're going to play them. You're never going to really hoard anything or get an engine going. It's a neat little family-style game. There is some luck attached to it depending on what cards you get. And I feel like that if you have a lot of something and it's scoring a lot with a multiplier, then you might win. But I feel like that's okay in a family-level game, that it's okay if somebody can score a lot of points. It can actually be a plus to a game like this. I think the components are a mixed bag. I think some of this stuff is really cheap. Luckily, what you actually need to play the game is fairly good. And it's like the ancillary stuff they kind of threw in there to be nice is on the cheaper side. So, for example, if those little player aids ripped, then who cares, right? What we do need of this game is cheat sheets. We need more of the cheat sheets, the player aids. We need more of those that have the explanation of all the icons. There's really one. There's no explanation in the rule book. You have to use the cheat sheets, which I'm fine with, but there's one. So you're constantly, and you're picking your cards at the same time. So it's not like I can have it on my turn and you have it on your turn. There's one. And we do our turn simultaneously when we're choosing the cards. So when I would need to do it, it's simultaneous. And there's one. So it's a problem of like, okay, I need to look this up. Now you look it up, and it just drags the game out. When, let's be honest, the reason why it's simultaneous is to push things along, and it has the opposite effect. So you're going to need to print some of those out. I definitely recommend printing out before you even play the game. First time you sit down to play it, you're going to need to print those out if they're available online, because it's just a mess without it. It just takes much longer than it needs to be. Otherwise, I really like this game. It's light, it's fun. I think the pieces are neat. I think it's an attractive-looking game. I think some of the cubes are colorization. There's some problems there where they're not always consistent with the colors of the cubes. So there's more component issues than game issues here, is what I'm getting at. I found it to be a fun little game. I like the idea of having 3 cards and only 3 cards in my hand. Now, what am I going to do with these 3 cards? How am I best going to score points? Sometimes you're totally just going to get hosed from that, and there's nothing you can do about it. And hopefully that luck would kind of drag out over everybody in the game. It's possible that somebody can not get hosed by that, or at least be able to work with more. I don't know that you want to collect the whole... they give you points for collecting all of them. And I think that if you're going to collect more than 1 or 2, you need to collect all of them. That needs to be your strategy. Because if somebody gets one of the things all the way up and they collect a lot of those and are able to specialize much more than everybody else, that person's probably going to win. But I think with more seasoned players, that's not going to happen. But that could happen maybe with somebody who's playing for the first time. Otherwise, I had a lot of fun with this. I'm actually going to recommend this game. Try this one out if you're looking for a good family level game. I don't know why this one got passed over. I don't know what the big negativity is with it, or maybe it's just one of those things where not everything can be popular. It's a really neat little game. The icons take it a little bit from being a family game, but after a play or two, they become very intuitive and you kind of know what's going on. So I recommend this one. Try this one out. Here's the components for Isla, which is a Stefan Feld game. It comes in the Isla. This is the medium-sized box. You're going to get the rules, which come pretty colorful. Pictures of all the components, which is handy for this game. It folds out, and you get the rules and then the summaries here for if you've played it before with a quick start. You're going to get very flimsy components in this game. So this is just a piece of paper that's very flimsy. I guess it's okay because it sits on the board and you just use these tracks and you have the scoring track going around it. This tells you how many of these points you'll need in order to end the game. But very, very flimsy. Rule books in different languages. These are pretty terrible, although they're functional. Each player will have this. This kind of tells you the phases of the game as a player aid. So when you play the 3 cards A, B, and D, you play these face down, and the cards will sit in here so you can see the powers. It's nice and functional. The problem is it's just cheap paper instead of like cardboard and all. This is cheap paper. You have the board tiles. This will be the center. Each of these are worth 2 and kind of gives you one of everything here. This is nice. Not the thickest of cardboard, but fine. Then you have some of these pieces that will kind of make the board up. That will make it a little bit different each time. I've used these in my reviews before. These boxes do not come with it. They're for me. I got these at the dollar store, but here's some cubes. Just regular cubes of different colors that come in the game. Here are the little miniature components that will come in. We have a few of these in different colors. Not too bad. You're not going to want to paint these or anything. They are what they are. There's not a lot of detail to them. But they're really nice for a little filler game like this. They're going to get cards. The cards are going to kind of be those, what I call Fantasy Flight little small cards. Colorful. Very easy to see. A, B, D. I don't know that the icons you're going to need a little bit of help with as you're playing the game. You're also going to get some cardboard tile tokens in here with the animals on them. These are all fairly thick and nice. I don't really have any complaints about those. The player aids kind of stink because they're in a few different languages, but there's only one set. And there's a lot of these things that are particularly useful, and they're double-sided. And then there's another one. So it's just not enough of these to go around because it looks like there's enough, but these are all different languages. So these are not the same language at all. And you just don't have enough for all the players. That was kind of cheapened out for me. But those components, I would say they're below par. Overall, they're not very good. The tiles, the cards are good. The ancillary stuff that you get, like the player aids and stuff like that, are just terrible. The little miniature guys are nice. This is where they spent the money, really on the brunt of the game, so I shouldn't complain too much. The rest of this, thank you for having it, but it doesn't really affect gameplay. This is a classic Isla book with the rules, and then you have the cheat sheet on the side of the summary. I really like the rules. I wish there was an explanation for the icons in the book and not just in the player aid. I mean, if you ever lost that player aid, or there isn't one available online, I don't know if there is or not. I need to print one out because this game you need one for each player. I wish those icons had been explained in the book. That's really my only faux pas with the book. I love the components, the pictures of the components, the name of the components next to it. That's really good in the book. So one minor detraction from it. I'm going to start off with explaining this because this is a score track that goes around. Here, based on the number of players, you'll play until these numbers get high enough. So if you have 3, you're playing until 9. If this got up in the 3 range, this got in the 3 range, this in the 2, and one of these in the 1, then it'd be 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And you would know that's when the game would end. Otherwise, there's 5 different animals that you can collect, and this will push the track up. These numbers also act as multipliers. So if the track got up to here and you had 4 of these mosquito tiles, 4 times 3 would be 12 points. So that's how this track works. So here's your player aid. This is really what's going on in the game. So for each game, or each round, you're going to draw 3 cards, and you're going to choose what they do. Each card, for the most part, is going to do something a little bit different at the top here. So whatever this power is, not going to focus on what it is now, is the A. Over here, in this corner is the B, and in this corner is the C. A is always going to give you a power. So when you play, you're going to have this. You're going to place your cards face down, and when everybody is ready, you will then turn them over. Okay? So this is A. So this automatically is going to go up in this slot, and you will have that power until you put something over. You only have 3 powers at a time, and when you get the 4th one, you must cover something up. B is easy. You're just going to get whatever cube color for free in this corner. You discard the card. I'm going to skip C for now. We'll come back to that because that's where the brunt of the game is, I guess. D, you get to move up that track that I just showed you. So in this case, I would move the frog track up. The 2 means nothing. So the track would go up for that, and for every frog that I had, I would score a victory point. So here's the board setup. Let me quickly show you how this works. So you're going to have workers out on the board, and what you'll be doing is, so if I wanted to place it on that yellow spot, I would have to give up 2 yellow cubes. So I'd give up 2 yellow cubes, and I would place it on this spot. Now if you look, there's like barriers all over this. So if I wanted to pay 2 sand, I could place another worker here. And once I fill in, all the 2 tells you is that it requires 2 to completely surround that spot. When I surround that spot, I get those 2 victory points. To further complicate it, you're going to have these tiles on it. So when I surround it, I'm going to pick up this tile, get my 2 victory points, and now I have this. So when I move the mosquito up on the track, I will get victory points for every mosquito that I have. And you're set collecting these at the end of the game to score victory points too. So some of these have 4 on it. So I played 2 brown to go there, 2 sand to go there. I picked up a couple more to put on yellow, and I would get whatever chit was in the center of that. So I got all 4 surrounding it. I would get the victory points, and then I would get this chit. And that's really what you're doing. So you're getting those cubes in order to place your people on the board to score these victory points and mainly collect these animal tiles that you're getting. Once the tile is gone, the first person that gets it gets the tile, and there's no victory points to score once it's taken. So that's pretty important. So it's a little game of just playing those cards and then deciding where you want to go. And you really want to try to get out on the board as much as possible. That's where a lot of the big points comes from. So getting those tiles and those modifiers are really, really going to help you. I'm going to recommend this game, and you should buy this game if you're into family level games. I wouldn't say this is a filler because it's a little bit longer than a filler, but for a family level game, I think the colors are bright. I think kids are going to like getting the animals. It's not a kids game. It's a family game. But I think it's really going to strike that market. I'm surprised more families aren't into this. I haven't heard more about this. This would have made one of my top 10 family games for the year that it came out, I think. The icons, you just need a play or 2. You need to commit to playing this once, and then we're going to get down to business once we have all those icons worked out. There's 180 cards, but they break them up so you can play with just the 1s, and then you can add the 2s. I don't know if it's just more or if they're harder. I didn't really catch anything that was, maybe they're a little bit more take that, where you can move things around, move people around for other people, but I like this one. This is a really neat little game. Recommended it for families.